الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسولنا الكريم أما بعد اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد النبي وآله وصحبه وسلم السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. So today inshallah I want to share with you something which is very much life-changing. It's life-changing if a person understands it and then is able to implement it. Implementing this is actually very, very easy. It's not difficult. And it's simply in the mind. If a person can change this on the mind level, you can sit here, do nothing with your body, and you can be implementing this. So that's how easy it is to do. But what I'm going to mention can be the difference between happiness, sadness, between being upset and being very, very happy, between being in love and being in hate. It can be the difference between being grateful, being ungrateful. So what is this? You must have heard the word mindset. In the business world, as well as in the deen, it's mentioned in many different forms, and in the past it's had different words. But this is a very right word. It's the mind and the set word. Look at these two words: mind, set, the setting of the mind. So this is like before I came, I turned the settings of this phone on in such a way that it doesn't turn off. So it doesn't turn off. So these notes that I've made for you, they don't disappear. So similarly, your mind has a setting as well. And the setting that your mind is at, you should first know, what setting is my mind at now? What setting with which am I living at? Can you imagine, if you imagine your mind is a mobile phone, the mobile phone has the potential to do so many things. You can surf the internet, enter this Wi-Fi world of internet, but imagine your mind is locked, that the setting is locked, that you don't even have the pin to open your mind. That's your mindset. Can you imagine the person has the phone that can access all the different websites in the world, learn so many things, learn the whole Quran, learn all the hadith, learn so much, read Islamic history, read about business, become a millionaire, but their phone is locked. So your setting is the difference between you being successful and unsuccessful, wealthy and poor, happy and unhappy. So inshallah, please come closer. The closer you come, the better, because then inshallah you feel more closer. The message is to you. So the question first is what is this mindset? So can I ask different people in the audience first of all, what do you think the word mindset means? So Brother Ibrahim, what do you think? Have you heard the word before?
Yes. So setting your mind in a certain condition or environment, sort of thing. Yeah.
Okay, good. That's a good attempt. So Brother Ibrahim said, setting your mind to a certain way. Okay, that's fine. Brother Sadiq, what do you think?
How that you fix your mind on that thing or objective, where you focus on that.
Okay, so something about focus. Okay, so that's a good try, mashallah. And children, or any one of you, what do you think? What do you think the word mindset means?
Why you think in your mind?
What's that, sorry?
Why you think in your mind?
What you think in your mind. Okay, so that's along the right lines, so that's very good. Yes, brother.
Mentality.
What do you mean by mentality?
So some people are motivated, some people are sports orientated, some people are deen orientated. What your mentality is, your attitude, your behavior.
Okay, so mashallah, it's along what you're referring to is along a different path. So mentality, what you're referring to is different qualities. You mentioned motivation and so on. Now, let me give you an example before I even tell you what mindset is, because you touched on the word motivation. In the past few days, so many people in just 2-3 days have mentioned the motivation problem, the problem of motivation. Do you know what I've said to every single one of them about motivation? And this is a mindset, so then I'm going to ask you again, what is mindset? All these people that have mentioned about motivation, oh, I sometimes I have motivation, sometimes I don't. You know, I've said to them, motivation is not reliable. Motivation is not reliable. And if you rely on a feeling, which is motivation, it's just a feeling, if you rely on a feeling to come so that you do something, then one day you'll do it and another day you won't. One day you love your wife, the other day you don't like her. One day the wife feels happy towards the husband, the other day she isn't happy. So both of you, husband, wife, children, parents, every single person, one day you have this feeling, the other day you don't have the feeling. And motivation is exactly the same. One day you feel, oh, I feel really motivated to go to the gym, or I feel really motivated to do dawah and tabligh, or I feel really motivated to go to this retreat, or I feel really motivated to go to school and study. But then what happens the day after? You don't feel motivation. So your mindset should be, I don't need motivation. You tell yourself, I don't need motivation. If I have it, good and well, it's there. And if I don't have it, I'm not going to rely on it. It's not reliable. Something which comes and goes, is that reliable? Those of you who are here, children especially, would you like if your parents were there one day and not there the other? Would that be reliable? That today your mom's at home, your dad's at home, they've made you something to eat. Tomorrow they're not there, you don't see them anywhere. There's nothing to eat. The gas is off, the lights are off, your parents are not there. Is that very reliable, parents? No. So those of you who are married, would you like it one day your husband and wife is in the house and then the other day there's somewhere you have no idea where they're gone? Is that a reliable spouse? No. So motivation is the same. That one day it's there, one day it's not. And you should be in this mindset that I'm not going to rely on it. This feeling that I'm relying on so that I do dawah, so that I do a speech, so that I do the gym and all these different things, so that I go to work. If you're relying on motivation to go to work, many times you're not going to work. You're going to be lazy. So where does lazy come from? You ask, many people complain that they have laziness. Laziness actually comes from relying on motivation. They're hoping that they feel motivated. They need to think, I am no longer going to rely on motivation. So for those of you who are going to study and do your GCSEs, A-levels, degrees, so on, you should say to yourself, I'm not going to rely on feeling like I want to work. I'm going to work even if I don't feel like it. What is this called? Can someone tell me? What is this quality? This is a quality. You do something even you don't feel like it. What's that quality called? Yes?
Is it being steadfast?
Steadfastness is close, is very close, because steadfastness is that sometimes you fall, but you get right back up. And then you carry on, you fall, you get right back up. So steadfastness is that you continue doing the same thing and improving. And if you fall, which all of us do, we are human beings, you get right back up. So that's steadfastness, that you keep going and you are stopping. Falling doesn't stop you from going forward, it just stops you for a few seconds. And then let's say your shoelace unties. What do you do on the journey? You tie your shoelace and carry on. So on the spiritual journey to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what does your shoelace untying mean? It means that maybe today you missed your zikr, maybe you missed fajr, maybe you got angry at something or someone and now you just need to apologize to them. So tying the shoelace just means fixing that problem, but you carry right on. So coming back to the question, what was my question to you? I asked you, brother mentioned steadfastness. I was asking you what's something else. What is that? What is the meaning of that word? What is that word? You do something even you don't feel like it. This is the number one quality the business world that business owners want in their staff. Number one. Reliance. That means you rely on yourself. Starts with a D, self. Development. Drive is a good one. The drive is like motivation though, that you need motivation.
Discipline.
Self-discipline. Self-discipline is where even though you don't feel like doing something, you still do it. And that is the number one quality that business owners, when they're looking for someone to employ, that's the number one that they want. So you should ask yourself, if that is so important in the business world, is it not important in my personal life, in my deen life, in my marriage life, in all aspects of life, in my studying life? It's very, very, very important. So self-discipline. So coming back to mindset. So I'll tell you now what mindset is. Mindset is simply the way that you look at something. It's the way that you look at something. So I'm going to give you an example. The perspective that you look at. Look at this table here. If this table was upside down and these legs were facing up, and you looked at that table, the legs are up, but the table is on the ground, and you didn't know that it could be turned into a table. And you would think, what a strange thing that is. Is that some sort of art? You know, the legs are up, but the head is at the bottom. You would think it's useless, let's throw it in the bin. But if you simply turn it around, the table is at the top. Look at how many things can be done. The table can be used for presenting, for eating, for studying, for so many things. Another example, the chair. Let's look at this chair. If you look at it from that way, you know that Imam can stand there and give khutbah there. But if we turned it around and you saw the back, you think, what's this made for? What's the point of that? So the way you look at something, you can actually see whether you can benefit from that thing or not. Another example, your mobile phone. Let's say that you looked at the mobile phone this way, just this way, and you think, what is this, what can that do? But you will only know that when it's this way, you can actually write something, do something, type something, send a message. So that is looking at something from the perspective of an object. That how you look at something determines how you benefit from it. But what about situations, circumstances, the problems that you are having in your life? Does it apply there as well? And the answer is yes, definitely applies there. So let me give you an example. If think of these two people. One is in a faraway land, very far away. The person is, so imagine them in your mind. There's a very small family. They have only one meal a day, one meal, and then the rest of the day they have nothing to eat. They have dirty water to drink, but it's clean enough for them to benefit, but the dirt is dangerous enough for them to get disease. But it's clean enough for them to have a satisfaction. They have only the one meal and they have one sheet of metal above their heads to protect them from the weather outside. One sheet. And that person is thinking, at least I have a roof over my head. At least I have a meal to eat, alhamdulillah. At least I have some water to drink. But now look at the other person, and they also have a small family, so they have family. But now look at this person where we are living here today. And this person is thinking, oh, I have so much food to eat, I have 3-4 meals a day, and all these snacks and so on, but I'm still not happy because I'm not healthy enough, I'm overweight or I'm underweight, but I still have so much food. Or I have a house but I'm renting, I don't have my own house, so I'm not happy. And those of us who, let's say this person has a house, but they only have a 2-bedroom house, now they're thinking, I want the bigger house. And let's say they have a car, they can go wherever they want, but they think it's only a small car. What will people say? It's only like a new Nissan Micra or something like this, but it's not Mercedes. And then let's say they have a job. They have a job and they think, I'm working 40 hours a week, 50 hours a week, but at least they have income and they have money they can spend whatever they want, some portion at the end of every month. So this person is not happy, but they have so many meals. This person isn't happy, but they have so much money to spend on things they want. They're not happy, but they have a car to go everywhere and anywhere. And they're not happy, and they have shelter and warmth and heater and electricity. So my question to you is, what is the difference in mindset of these two people? So can someone tell me? You've seen the two scenarios. One person has very little, but they're very happy, they're grateful. The other person has so much, but they're not grateful, so they're not happy. What is the mindset? So the question, what was mindset? Who can tell me what was mindset? I said the simple definition before. Can you tell me? Can you tell me what was the definition of the mindset in simple words?
Self-discipline.
No, the self-discipline was something else. That was just telling you the number one thing that people in the world, business owners, want from you. So you should think, I want this from me as well. What was the definition of the mindset? Can one of you remember? Anyone? Brother Mustafa? No? So this is how important it is that the key points we repeat. So remember, let's use the example of the table. The table, if it's upside down, the way that you look at it, no benefit, because you think, well, it's useless. But if the table is the right way around, and the way that you look at it then, you think, oh, that's useful. So what I just said, the words, the definition of the mindset. What are the Yeah, you have that? Yeah. No? So the way you look at something, your perspective, the way you look at something. So let's look at this scenario. The poor person, or there has very little, the person has so much. What is their way of looking at their situation? What is their way of looking at it? Come on. So let's see if you can derive it. How is that person looking at their life, the one who has very little? How do you think they look at their life?
They're looking at it with gratefulness, thankfulness.
Oh, that's right, they're grateful for what they have. There's something specific, two differences, two very specific differences. Yes, brother.
That's enough for them.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, so this is enough for them. That's an example of a mindset. Okay, that's enough for them. The thinking positives, this is right. So you're all along the right lines now. And what about the other person? How are they looking at it? What's the opposite?
Negative.
Negatively, anything else?
Not enough for them.
Not enough of them. Okay, so this is good, mashallah, you're along the right lines, but let me give you something more precise, more exact. The one who has very little, they focus on what they have. 90% of their mind is looking at what they have. And 10% maybe they think about the things they don't have, so they work towards them. This other person, they focus on the things they don't have. 90. So even if you had a mansion and 10 fancy cars and £1 million in the bank, and I know people who are very wealthy, millionaires and so on, and I still see them unhappy sometimes. There are millionaires who I know are very happy, they give so much to charity, but there are people who are very wealthy, and I know that they're very unhappy. But why? They're looking at what they don't have. They're looking at, I don't have 10 million or 100 million or so on. So they're looking at what they don't have. The problem sometimes people with lots of money have is they think about what would happen if they lost it. They think about losing it. So do you see, they think about what they don't have. They haven't lost it. If you have it, you haven't lost it. They're thinking about something that they don't have, which is losing it. So this is one mindset. If you implement this today, just this one mindset, and this isn't even the main mindset I want to share with you. If you implement this one, start your life by focusing on what you have and not on the things you don't have. Then that's how you feel grateful. So many times people say, be grateful, be grateful. What does be grateful mean? Is it just, oh Allah, thank you, Allah, thank you? But the words can become empty if I don't have the heart, if I don't have it in my inner self. So I'm saying, oh Allah, thank you for this water, thank you for this, and so on. But if in the heart I'm thinking, oh, I don't have enough, I want more, I need more, I want more, I'm not really grateful, because I think Allah hasn't given me enough, that's what I'm saying. So the person who does this, they focus 90%, or even more, on what they have, and 10% they focus on the things they don't have. Why? Because someone will always ask the question, oh, if I only think about what I have, then I'm never going to strive to have more. This is why 90% you focus on what you have, 10% you focus on the things you don't, so that you work towards them. And then, so let's say you have a job, you're not happy with the job, but at least you have the job, so you can think that I have a job, I can pay my bills, I can go to places, I can go take people, family, friends out to dinner and so on, I can buy them things, I can enjoy my life, but yet I'm not happy with the job. So 90% focus on the things you have, all those things I mentioned, and at least you're not begging and so on. Think about the things you have. And the 10%, think about the things that you can do to change the job, to make it better. But if you become the other way around, 90% of your time you focus on the things you don't have, and 10% you focus on the things that you have, you will be very unhappy. Very unhappy. Do you see how one perspective of life can change your life? One change of your mindset, just one. And do you know how many mindsets that there are for us to teach? Just to teach, this one isn't even one of the written ones, just for teaching, and these mindsets, who do they belong to? There are 60 that we, inshallah, intend to teach and want to teach 60, and who they belong to is the Holy Prophet ﷺ, his blessed mindset. So the one which I just mentioned there is a mindset of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, all the prophets and messengers, that they would look at what they have, they wouldn't look at what they don't have. So the one which I want to share with you today, that was just so you understand the word mindset. So let's see who now knows what this word mindset means. Brother Dhikr, can you remember? What is the word mindset? No? Okay, someone help you? Brother Mustafa?
Focus what you thought.
That was that mindset, so that's good. Focus on what you
What you have in life,
and what you shouldn't focus on,
what you don't have.
and how much percentage on what you have.
And that 90,
Yeah?
70, 90.
Yeah, so about 90% focus on what you have. Okay, so that's good. So you've got that particular mindset. But my question was, what was the definition of mindset? Yes, brother.
How you see things, how you perceive things.
That's right. So how you actually look at something. We gave the example of looking at objects. If you look at a certain object in a certain way, it becomes useful. If you look at it in a different angle, different way, it's not useful. If you look at a pen, and I don't have a pen on me, but imagine you look at a pen and the point, you see the point, it's useful. But if you look at the pen the other side, the part where there's no point, and you don't pay attention to the pointy pen part, you think, well, this can't write, throw it away. So your way of looking at something is very, very important. And this is why Allah SWT mentions this in the Holy Quran. To this meaning, Allah mentions that people look at this world through the shaitan's eyes. This is not this is just the meaning of different verses. Allah SWT mentions that to look at this world through Allah SWT sight and through the Holy Prophets. What is that referring to? Can I go and make my look through my eyes through the Holy Prophet's physical eyes? Is that possible? No. It's the way that he looked at this world, his mindset of this world. That's how my sight should become. If it is, the Holy Prophet ﷺ was the most happiest person on this face of the earth. Most happiest. Never mind the hereafter. The hereafter he will be, also he already is, but he will also be the highest of the high there. No one can ever reach his happiness, his satisfaction, his peace. No one can ever reach that level, never. But even in this world, the struggles which he went through, beside that, he still had the highest level of peace, happiness, contentment. And those are all things which me and you want. So if you're going to follow the sunnah, if you're not going to follow the sunnah for the akhirah, if you're not going to do it for the hereafter, at least do it for this world. Because in this world, if you follow the sunnah of the Holy Prophet, not just his outward body, and his outward sunnah, but his inner sunnah, his mind and his heart. If you follow that, you will be so serene and happy and tranquil that if the kings and queens of the world knew your peace, they would want to buy it from you. And they wouldn't be able to buy it because they can't exchange that. So that's something to ponder upon. At least if you're not going to do it for your hereafter, do it for this world. If you're not going to purify yourself for there, purify yourself for here. Because then you can live very, very happily. So let me share with you one special mindset, inshallah, and then we'll finish. Maybe we'll have time for all of this. But one of them is of the 60 different mindsets. And when I mention it, I will divide it into 7 parts. So 7 parts, the 7 aspects of life, or the 7 trees of life. And so I'll divide them into those 7, inshallah, so you can apply them. What is the point of listening to a speech if you can't apply it? You need to be able to take something away, go practice it straight away. And that's what the companions radiallahu anhu did. All of them, they always listened and practiced this and practice. So this one is very powerful. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions this in the Holy Quran, this mindset. So firstly, this is the point. Allah Azza wa Jal, Allah does not burden any soul more than it can bear. Allah, I'll say it again. Allah Azza wa Jal does not burden any soul more than it can bear. So this means Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is never going to put on you a test which is more than you can tolerate, more than you can bear. So you have to tell yourself, whatever I'm going through, I can bear it. Allah has promised this in the Quran, so I can bear it. So the very first thing you should be saying is, Allah has given me the ability to bear this. So if you say it's unbearable, then you're saying Allah has given you more than you can bear. But Allah hasn't. You can bear it. So in a hadith it's mentioned, the Holy Prophet ﷺ, what happened was the day of Ta'if. Who knows what happened on the day of Ta'if? What did the children of Ta'if do to the Holy Prophet ﷺ? What did they do? They threw stones at the blessed body of the Holy Prophet. His blood was falling from head to toe. Sandals were covered in blood. And he mentioned that this was one of the hardest days of his life. One of the hardest. So there we just mentioned Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not burden any soul more than it can bear. And this particular day was one of the hardest of the Holy Prophet's life. But he was still able to bear it. And let me show you how. After that incident, the angels came to the Holy Prophet and said, Ya Rasulullah, if you want us to, these two mountains, we will use them and crush the people. And the Holy Prophet, his mindset, look at his mindset. Imagine if it was me or you, what would we say? Just think it was me or you. And the angels come and say, these people have shot you, they've used swords on you, they've used stones on you, you're bleeding head to toe. You can destroy them. Let's nuke them. Like people in our day and age, instead of mountains, there might be a missile or something. And we might think, yeah, let's destroy them. But the Holy Prophet says, even in that state, the most difficult state, he still said that, no, I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make their descendants believers. Even these people may not be, but their descendants believers. So leave them. Don't hurt them. Even in that situation, he still wasn't thinking of himself. He still was thinking of the other people. And if that wasn't to happen, there are great awliya, friends of Allah, who came from the descendants of Taif, who we today are still benefiting from. So imagine he made the other decision, took revenge. Where would we be today without those people? So some of them, they traveled to India, Pakistan, and those areas. Many of those people became Muslim because of people in Taif. Imagine. So we might be sitting here and worshipping some idols and also who knows if that incident was the other way around. So the wonderful thing which happened after it, just as a side point, does anyone know what happened after the incident of Taif? Where did the Holy Prophet go? Shortly after. Yes?
Miraj.
Yes, mashallah, the Miraj, the night journey. And that was also the most wonderful experience that the Holy Prophet had in this physical world. It wasn't in this physical world, but it was in this lifetime. It was one of the best, wonderful experiences. The Holy Prophet left this physical world and visited Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in His presence. Allah is omnipresent, meaning Allah is with us wherever we are. But he left this physical world, went to Jannah, went to the heavens before Jannah, went to the Arsh of Allah, and higher than the Arsh, to such a point where only the Holy Prophet could go, not even angels could go. Jibreel said, if I go beyond this point, a certain light, if I go beyond that, even I will be destroyed. Jibreel, the archangel, said this. And the Prophet with his sandals, he went forward. Even imagine his blessed sandals could go forward. Jibreel couldn't go forward. So Allah subhanahu, then it's mentioned that they had hundreds of thousands of words of intimacy between them, Allah subhanahu and the Holy Prophet. Wonderful words, and time was not even passing for the Holy Prophet. But when he came back, the bed was still as though, when you get off the bed and it just goes up and down, vibrates, that was still doing that. So he came back and time had not passed. So look at this incident. The most difficult time is always followed by a blessed time. So whenever you are going through difficulty, it might be that you have the difficulty inside you. It might be mental, that I feel so much under pressure. I have so many exams to study. I have work and marriage and children and finance and all these different issues. I have so many children to take care of, but my income isn't increasing. Or I have some responsibilities of dawah and I don't believe I can do it. You're being asked to speak, do a speech or introductions and you think you can't do them. Whatever it might be, you will always have some sort of burden in your life, but you need to remind yourself that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told you Allah does not burden any person more than he can bear. So I'm going to share with you just a few of them, maybe not all 7, but I want to show you how you can apply this one prophetic mindset in all aspects of life. So the very first one is the spiritual tree, your spiritual life. And what does that mean? So what do you think your spiritual life means? So Brother Mustafa, what do you think? Or Brother Tabasum, Brother, what do you think your spiritual tree refers to? Your spiritual life.
To returning to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
To
return to Allah subhanahu wa
To
ta'ala.
return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, that's good, that's along the right lines. Anything else? What do you children think your spiritual life means? So you have other ones, I'll give you an example. You have your family life. So there's your family life. Then we also have your provision, means the income that comes into your life. Not just income, the number of breaths that you have, the number of steps Allah has given you, the number of glances Allah has given you. That's provision as well. But spiritual life, anyone? What do you think? Sorry? No? Anyone? Go on. What do you think your spiritual life refers to? Brother Yahya? Your spiritual life, your spiritual tree. This is one big aspect of your life.
It would be along this line, mindset, your thought.
Yeah, okay, so that's good. So it's related to thought. What else? Anything else?
Inner self, really.
Okay, very good, mashallah. That's along the right lines, inner self. So your spiritual life doesn't only refer to your relationship with Allah, that's one part. It mainly refers to your relationship with yourself, your inner relationship with yourself. So the peace, the happiness that you feel within you. Imagine there are some people that have everything outwardly, but internally they're distressed. Have you never heard of actors and famous people who've killed themselves? They had all the money in the world that they could have, and they committed suicide. And then there are many people, I saw a documentary about this not so long ago, this young lady, only 15, 16, she broke up with someone, she got a gun, and she was, the people would say that she was generally very beautiful and so on. She got a gun, and she shot herself in the face. She intended to die, intended to kill herself, but she didn't die. They did the surgery on her face and they reconstructed her entire face. She was 15, 16, and now she looks like a very elderly woman. Even her voice is completely changed. Her parents were so distraught that they thought, where's our daughter gone? It's the same personality. Her voice is very difficult to speak, but now she's so grateful. She was saying, now I'm so grateful that I've been given a second chance. And I can go and talk to other people who are thinking about killing themselves, that don't do it, it's the worst decision you'll ever make. 15 years old, all her life because of one incident. So think about what mindset she had. So the spiritual tree refers to your relationship with yourself. Okay? So how would you apply this mindset in your spiritual life, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't burden you more than you can bear? How do you apply that to your inner life? What do you think of it, Brian? I'll start for you. Whatever difficulties I'm going through, where? Inside, yeah? So inside, in your inner self, we all have difficulties inside that no one can see. What's the answer? Can you bear it or can you not? Yeah, you can bear it. You can bear it and you will get through it. And look at the life of the Holy Prophet. When imagine there's a ceiling here. When you get through that ceiling, what's the next step? What happens? Where did he go? You go? Say it louder. So where did the Holy Prophet go after the biggest struggle? Salah? Miraj. Say it. So he went to the Miraj. So what does that mean? After our struggle, what is coming? If you break through the struggle, you get through it, there's a Miraj waiting for you. It's not going to be a Miraj like the Holy Prophet, but there is something wonderful and amazing and a big blessing waiting for you. And if you have this mindset that this difficulty I'm going through, if I can get through it, if I can bear it, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has something great in store for me, that will actually help you get through it. That thought, that mindset will help you. Like the Holy Prophet had the mindset that day, he got through it, he did it, he made all the perfect decisions, and look what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took him. So whenever you're going through those things, your inner self, know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tests people. Every single day is a test. But do you know how many times Allah mentions the number in the Holy Quran? Once or twice a year. And what does that once or twice a year refer to? Once or twice a year, the test that Allah mentions here, we test them once or twice a year so that they may turn back. What is that once or twice a test? It happens every year, once or twice. It's the struggle that you get to where it's as though you have to break through the ceiling. It's like you're reaching your final point that you can't go anywhere beyond. It's the point at which you feel so overwhelmed that you can't go any further, that you feel that you have to reach. That type of difficulty is only once or twice a year. So you should prepare for it. You should be aware, once or twice a year, I will be tested. I will be tested. So you prepare for it. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it clear to us in the Holy Quran, this world is a test. Your children are a test. Your spouses are a test. Your wealth is a test. Everything is a test. These tests are not there for a bad reason. Why do students do GCSEs, A-levels, degree, and apprentice? Why do we do these things? To take us to the next level. So that you can get something great in your life. You can get a good job or a good business. Be free. You do them tests for the good reasons. You don't do them for any bad reason. To go to prison, you do them for a good reason. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala similarly tests you to take you to a higher level so that He can give you the best of all the creations in terms of reward, which is paradise, Jannah, and the best of the best that you can see Him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not going to give any willy-nilly the ability, the option to see Him. No one, not anybody's going to get that. Seeing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Jannah is 1 second is better than all Jannah Firdaus forever and ever and ever. So can you imagine that type of blessing? Is it going to be given to just anybody? No, it's reserved for the most pious and righteous, and you can become that type of person. So this was just the spiritual one. Let's talk about family then. In the family aspect, what was the mindset? Again, repeat to me the one mindset we are talking about. Brother Sadiq, what's the one mindset we are talking about today? That Allah does not anyone more than they can bear. So in your family life, think about your husband, wife, children, parents. What burdens, what difficulties you go through within the family. What burdens there are. So now I want to tell you this, that let's apply that principle in the family. So imagine the family in which you are born. Some people are born in very, very, very pious families. Their brothers and sisters, mother and father, all of them pray, all of them do Ramadan, Hajj, Umrah, all good things. They might have good character. Then there are others. We are trying ourselves, but our family are quite astray. Maybe they're doing different things that they shouldn't be. So should we be complaining that, oh Allah, I don't have a good family, but they have a good family? Is that an excuse? Is that a valid excuse? No, this is not a valid excuse. Rather, you should be thinking, the burden I have, this burden I have, I can bear it. If they had it, maybe they couldn't bear it. That's why God didn't give it to them. But I have the burden of having so many brothers and sisters who don't practice, are not on the deen. That's because it's my responsibility to guide them. It's my responsibility to help them. So Allah has given you that burden because you can bear it. But someone else, maybe they wouldn't be able to bear it, so Allah gave them a different burden. So do you see your mindset now? You won't be complaining, oh, I can't practice, I can't obey Allah because I have bad company around me. The other person has good company, they're okay. The burden you have is because you can bear it. And then, how do you guide your brothers and sisters? Can anyone tell me? How do you help your older brothers and sisters, especially? They're older than you. You can't tell them off and say, don't do this or do this. How do you guide your older brothers and sisters? Anyone? Brother, what do you think? How do you guide the brothers and sisters if they're not on the deen? And if they're astray, like maybe let's say they're drinking or they're partying or and so on, things like that.
I'll give them advice.
Okay, so you could give them advice. Let's think about things that we should not do. What shouldn't you do?
Missing namaz.
No, for your brothers and sisters. So what shouldn't you do? Should you tell them off very harshly? No, that's not going to work, is it? So should you be friends with them and be kind to them? Yes. Even if they're on the wrong path, then if you become very, very harsh with them, you're going to push them away. But if you become loving and compassionate and kind with them, you have to show them what your job is. So let's say you are this person who has the brothers, the family who are not on the deen. You have to show them that you have something in you that they want. Because they're going to the clubs and to other people to enjoy their life. You have to show them that in you, because of the deen, because of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Holy Prophet, you have something that everyone else wants. Then they will come to you. But if you don't show that to them, if you don't show your happiness and peace because of obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Holy Prophet, the mindsets which I just mentioned, you don't show that to them, that the happiness that you can experience. You don't even give them a glimpse to it. Why would they ever want to be like you? So you have to be the role model. You have to be a role model first. So become the role model and be good to them. Let them see a little bit about you so that they can see that they can have this as well. And it's not that hard. So give them seeds. It's called seeds. You give them little bit at a time, little bit at a time. You plant something in them so that they think, like today I said to someone, not even about deen, but about business, I said to him, how many people come to this gym every single day? Or how many people pay for this gym? It was a gym. And he said, 4,000 people have subscribed to this gym. 4,000. And they all pay, minimum they pay £15. So that comes to £60,000 a month coming into that one gym. And there's many around the country. So I said to him, look at the business model. It's a very good business model, isn't it? But what would happen if all those people came at the same time? He said that we'd have to close down. We'd have to close it down. So then I told him, look at those vending machines. Who supplies the vending machines? And he said, some of them the gym owns, and some of them someone else owns. So I said to him, do you know how many vending machines you need to replace your income? Do you know? And they only cost like £300, and then you can fill it up once a week. You only need 5. 5 vending machines. Have one here, one there, one there, one there. And then you can become free from your work. One can bring £300 a month profit in, and if you have 5, you become free. And he was surprised, he was amazed, because he never thought of such a thing that could make him free from work. And so I planted a seed in him because I want him to become free from his job, because people who are they have very, very good hearts. This person isn't even Muslim, but through giving him something in dunya, you can give them something in deen. Remember this, if you want to help people in deen, help them in dunya first. So giving him something, business advice to help him into freedom, then he will be thinking, how else can you help me? And what he will be being taught is the life of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, without even knowing that he's learning about the Holy Prophet ﷺ. And then when he knows, all this time you were teaching me the Holy Prophet ﷺ, and I changed my life because of him, I want to follow him as well. So this is the wisdom. You plant seeds in people and you let it grow over time, over time. So today I only mentioned to you the two regarding that one mindset. So I mentioned the spiritual and the family. Imagine there are the provision, how to apply that to your rizq. Everyone, especially the men who have to work because we have a duty of rizq and so on, that correct mindset is very important, but we don't have the time for that now. The tree of self-development, the tree of health, the tree of social interaction, and then the tree of khidmah service. Those 7 aspects of your life, how to apply one mindset of the Holy Prophet ﷺ into 7. What to say about the person who applies 60 of them, and all in all 7. Can you imagine? You see them walking around like you, but do you see the difference in the mindset? That is something else. So that is something different. So it's like people, when you walk around, people don't have a pound sign above their head, you don't know how much is in their bank. So nobody walks around with that. So similarly, people don't walk around telling you or showing you their mindset and the way that they see the world. So you have to go and ask and find, and then you can practice it yourself. Even on this, and the one thing I'm going to give you is this. On here is 4 levels to practice this one mindset. 4 levels. So let me share with you just the first one, inshallah, the first one. So this is something that you can do for 30 days, practice for 30 days, and then you can attain this mindset. Anyone listening, even after, they can do this. So I'll read it for you, inshallah. Firstly, one must recognize feeling overburdened is all in the mind. Overburdened is all in the mind. The thought of overburden is because you're looking at it the wrong way. You're thinking, I can't bear this. But imagine, I can bear it. Like the person who focuses on what they have, they suddenly feel grateful. The one who focuses on what they don't have, they're ungrateful. So I could think, thank you very much for the water, mashallah, water. Imagine the person thinks, why have you got me water? Why didn't you get me a tea? Or where's the biscuits in the case? So they can think of all the things they don't have, and then they become ungrateful. So firstly, realize everything's in their mind. One should begin to focus on the present moment. So you focus where you are, this present moment. And what does that mean? If whoever you're with, you think about them. Right now you're with me. My wife and child are not with me now, so I'm not thinking about them. You're with me, so my only thought is going to be about you. If you're with your wife and child and your husband, then you think about them. When you're not with them, you forget about them. Some people think that's very strange. Why should I forget about my spouse and children? Well, if you when you're not with your wife and children and you're thinking about them, then when you're with them, you're thinking about something else. You see? So there are many people who do this. They're on holiday or they're at work, they're thinking about their wife and child, and the wife's thinking about the husband and so on. When they're with the wife, they're thinking about the business. The other way around. So similarly, simply, whoever you're with, you focus on them. Child, parent, wife, husband, teacher, whoever it is, you focus on them. Whatever you're doing, you focus on that. So 2 things. Whoever you're with, focus on them. Whatever you're doing, focus on that. So when you're drinking, who knows the dua before drinking? Or just before the sip? What is it? Bismillah, Alhamdulillah, and you do 3 times. So what is that? The Holy Prophet is thinking about the water as he drinks it. Because otherwise, how can you recite Bismillah, Alhamdulillah, if you're not thinking about the sips? Well, your mind is somewhere else, you forget to say Bismillah, Alhamdulillah. So this means that, imagine the Holy Prophet when even eating is thinking about the food, when drinking, thinking about the water, when you're walking up, think about the uphill walk, Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar. When you're walking down, you're thinking about the downhill walk, subhanAllah, subhanAllah. When you're entering the mosque, you think about the mosque. When you're leaving the mosque, you think about leaving the mosque. Whatever you're doing, you focus on that action. If you're eating, think about the food. I always tell people, imagine when you're eating chicken. think about the mother of that chicken who gave birth to the chicken, and the mother of that chicken, and the mother of that chicken, and the mother of that chicken. How many ancestors of this one chicken had to give birth to so many chickens just for you to eat their baby? So, have you ever thanked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for all the ancestors of the chicken, never mind the one chicken? You can only think of something like that if you think about the food when you're eating. So, this is the level that you practice for 30 days. Whoever you are with, you think about them. And whatever you're doing, you think about that. You let your focus be on that. And then when you're in the prayer, you will think about the prayer easily. The prayer will become easier. And when you're working, your focus on the work will be better. This is only the first level, and there are 4, inshallah. So, on that note, inshallah, I'd like to finish. If anyone has any questions on this topic, then inshallah, please, they should ask. They can ask.
You know, you said about focusing on the topic at hand or the task at hand. What if your mind wanders?
So the mind wandering is this shows this person hasn't been practicing this. So everyone's mind wanders until the mind knows what to focus on. So it's training that is required, and when you train it, then it becomes laser focused. So all the person needs to do, this is why I mentioned the level at the very end. Sorry, the speech would be almost useless without the levels, because the level is how you practice it, and that's how you start. So if the person, when the thought goes to somewhere else, you need to tell yourself, bring it back. And to make it easier, you can focus on few things to start with. So let's say you will focus when eating, you will focus when sleeping. So just before sleeping, what are you going to think about? Sleep. So if you think about sleep before you sleep, you actually fall asleep. So, but if you think about your phone and Facebook and all these other things, then you won't fall asleep. You find it difficult. So think about sleep, and then you actually fall asleep. Those 2 things. And when you are with someone, think about them. So just practice those 3 things to begin. Whoever you're with, think about them. When you're eating, think about the food. And when you're sleeping, think about the sleeping. The one or more to add, you might laugh, find this strange, is when you're in the bathroom, think about in the bathroom. And the question is why? I always have to answer this. Why? Why would we say that when you're in the bathroom, think about the bathroom, rather than people sitting and looking at their phones? Why? Because, think about this, there are some creations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that go to the bathroom not even once a day, it happens automatically. Then the food nutrients goes inside them, and the waste leaves them automatically. Like fish are swimming all day long, they don't need to stop anywhere. They swim, the excrement leaves them, and they are eating at the same time. So, the things that are even smaller than them. If Allah wanted to, He could have made us like that. But we have to go to the bathroom 4, 5, 6 times a day. Why so many? The reason is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to realize, you human being, I have made you the best of all creation, but one thing which will make you the best is humility and humbleness. So this going to the bathroom very frequently is your reminder that you are to be humble and before me, and then you will be the best creation. So going to the bathroom so often is a reminder to be humble. And if we don't use the reminder to be humble, then all that going to the bathroom is not benefiting you. It's benefiting your physical body, but not your spiritual body. Do you see? So those 4 times, if you practice them, then inshallah the mind will stop wandering. But you have to practice and train, otherwise right now there's no training, it's free to go anywhere, and you need to bring it within practice. Anyone else? So then inshallah, I hope this has enabled you to open a door to a different world and begin realizing that there is much more to achieve than simply the materialistic world and these things, and it's all in here. And in the mindset world, is the path to Allah. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala refers, look at this one, and then we'll finish. This one person worshipped Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for 500 years. In the past, people used to live much longer. 500 years he lived, and the Holy Prophet mentioned he was from the past generations. On the Day of Judgment, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will ask him, all this worship that you did, all this worship of this 500 years, this person will, on the Day of Judgment, will say that it was me, I did all the worship, I did all these good deeds, I did it. He'll attribute to himself. So on that day, Allah will say to him, I'm going to take away one ability from you. One ability, guess what that one ability is? The ability to go to the bathroom, the toilet, number one. So he can't do fashab, or he can't go to the toilet for a week. He can't go. And so imagine on the Day of Judgment, nobody needs to do this. We don't need to eat or sleep or anything like that. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give him the need to go to the bathroom. And then Allah will say that if you give me your 500 years of worship, I will give you the ability to go to the bathroom. And the person was so desperate, he will say, oh Allah, take it, I need to go to the bathroom. And then at that point, he will realize, Allah will take that difficulty away from him, and then he will realize that, oh Allah, truly the 500 years worship, it wasn't me that did a favor to you, but rather you did the favor to me. I couldn't thank you with my 500 years of worship. I couldn't thank you for going to the toilet once. How can you dare to even begin to think that you can thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for all those other blessings that Allah has given you? You can't thank Allah for one blessing that He's given you, and it's something to do with nabab, filth. You can't thank Allah for this. So how can we ever think that I am the one who has done such a great thing? We aren't. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is. And that's another mindset. So that I just leave you with, that this is the power of mindset. That person who has the correct mindset, look what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives him. Then Allah forgave him, and entered him to Jannah. But if he had the wrong mindset, what would have happened to him? Your 500 years has been rejected, off to Jannah you go. That was the difference of mindset. The mindset can make the difference between Jannah and Jahannam for you. So, inshallah, on this I finish, and Jazakallah subhanahu wa bihamdika. Sure, 10 minutes. مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم مولاي صل وسلم دائما ربنا ورب الملائكة والروح سبوح قدوس ربنا ورب الملائكة والروح سبوح قدوس ربنا ورب الملائكة والروح ربنا ورب الملائكة السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. اللهم صل على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. اللهم صل على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى وصحبه وسلم. اللهم صل على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى Allah send the reward of whatever we have recited, Allah send this upon the blessed Holy Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Allah, these mindsets which we have shared today, these are the prophetic mindsets. This is the way of thinking of your beloved Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Oh Allah, if you had not sent him and if he had not taught us, we would know nothing. We would know nothing of the path to you, the journey to you. We would not even know how to live this world. The way people were living before his blessed time, they treated so many, each of them, so many people in the worst of ways, as slaves, as objects. Oh Allah, Islam has given us so much, and the Holy Prophet ﷺ has given us everything. Oh Allah, you have given us everything. Oh Allah, how can we ever thank you? Oh Allah, can never thank you as you deserve to be thanked. Allah, we are shortcomings, we have shortcomings in every single way. With our body, we have shortcomings. With our mind, we have shortcomings. With our heart, we have shortcomings. With our spiritual journey and path to Allah, we are shortcomings. We are lazy, we are deficient in every single way. Allah, overcome and compensate for all our shortcomings. Allah, overlook all our faults and replace all our evil with goodness. O Allah, forgive our sins and turn them into good deeds. And the bigger the sin, the bigger the good deed let it become. O Allah, send the reward of the things we have recited from your Holy Prophet and allow him to send it upon all the ummah, those who are living and those who have passed, especially the sinful. And Allah, we are amongst them. Allah, let it also be amongst us and to benefit us ourselves, all by this world and hereafter. Oh Allah, forgive our families, our brothers, our sisters, our mothers, our fathers, nieces, nephews, cousins, brother-in-laws, sisters-in-laws, all of them, oh Allah. Let us be a reflection of goodness and a reflection of your Holy Prophet ﷺ upon every person that we meet, and the Muslims and the non-Muslims. Oh Allah, let us be true ummatis of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, to share not only his sunnah but also his mindset sunnah as well with the world, in this day and age, and in the future. Allah, let these children, youngsters who are here with us today, let them grow to be true followers of your Holy Prophet. Let them become people who can not only benefit themselves, their parents and their families, but the whole world. Allah, let them be beacons of light for the Ummah. سبحان ربك عز وجل ما يصفون وسلام